episode 64? 65? I lost
65.
track. 65. Welcome, everyone, to episode 65 of the Geeky Juans podcast. I'm Steven. Next to me is Jude. Today, we're going to be talking about something different. It's still geeky, but not the geeky that you expect. Today, we are talking about sports. But before we talk about that, I wanted to ask you, Jude, how are you doing 1 year into the lockdown?
Oh, 1 year after lockdown. Let's see.
Into the lockdown. It's not
Oh
yet done.
man, how am I doing? Well, it's been weird because let's see. Let's see what happened. I lost a job during pandemic. Got a new
Mhm.
job during pandemic. Now I'm still working in that job, and
That's great.
yeah, we've been stuck here for a while. I mean, we go out every now and then. I go out for office errands, groceries,
Mm-hmm.
and going to the bank. But yeah, 1 year to the lockdown, I guess I'm doing better than expected. Constantly I've been leveling up my setup. So I now have a bed table, podcast stuff here. I might
Nice.
consider upgrading my mic and camera soon. So doing much better than expected. Like this is uh this is like I could there it could have been it could have been crazier, but hey, we're here in the pandemic.
Mm.
It's fine.
Saying hi to Earl Maghirang of Fanboy SEO.
Yeah,
Yes!
hello.
Kumusta ka
Awesome.
na, man? Kumusta ka na? All right. As for myself, 1 year into the lockdown, I've done some stupid things financially, to be honest. Things I'm not proud of. As you can see, I am wearing a San Diego. Oh crap, yung camera hindi kita. Okay, kita. A San Diego Gulls hockey jersey, which I bought for my birthday.
Let's
um,
go.
I'm not gonna mention the price because it was not a financially sound thing to purchase.
Oh
Do
yeah, I
not
think
be
I want
me.
to mention also when it comes to purchases, I've bought a
Yeah.
lot of games. Although I've
Hmm.
stopped because I'm trying to save up for a PC, which is kind
Yes.
of difficult because I heard PC prices are gonna be raising way up this year, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be crazy. But yeah, I've spent a lot
Yeah.
of money on video games, and now I'm just relying on subscriptions to wait for
Yeah.
free video games. So
Mm.
that's my that's how I solved my money spending by
Mm.
picking the more efficient financial option. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Ano
much.
pa? That pretty much answers our question of no, question number two, which is what have you been doing to stay sane? Which is purchase stupid shit
Yeah,
like
that's pretty
hockey
much it.
jerseys and video
How
games.
that's how we're keeping sane, and
Yeah.
watching wrestling movies and various stuff. Anything to
Yes.
keep us occupied.
Saying hi to Tim Montales, by the way. Sabi niya, since sports is tonight's topic, it will be best if you guys drink Gatorade. Win from within. Oh, man. Wouldn't it be
Oh
cool if we
man,
got a PepsiCo sponsorship?
got, I wish I got Gatorade right now. I would like it. It's
Yeah.
really hot today. Like
I'm more of a Pocari Sweat person, by the way. So Pocari Sweat. All right.
just enjoying
So
this water. So true.
water. So yeah, into 1 year into the lockdown, I've done stupid purchases. I have still in the same job. Not gonna mention where. I'm hopefully I have an interview coming up, so hopefully that goes well. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't want to jinx anything. I just got some an interview coming up, so we'll see what happens.
That's how it
Um,
goes.
yeah, and then yun nga, question number two, what have you been doing to stay sane? We pretty much answered that with stupid purchases like hockey stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, and I don't
Uh,
know, enjoying and keeping our podcast, really active as much as possible.
yes.
I think the longest break we've had was like December just for Christmas, so that's kind of
Yes, that's true. All
so
right,
yeah,
so let's move on to the number three, the topic of the day, which is
sports.
sports. Before we do that, I do want to mention that we do have a Shopee link.
Yeah.
I forgot to add it to our Facebook comments, so I'm gonna put it in right now. Um, The 3-3 sale is not the only sale that's going to be coming up. So don't forget that there will be other sales coming up until the end of 4-4. So if you want to buy anything, if I can just find the Shopee link, do click on our Shopee link, and a little portion of each purchase that you make through our link helps keep this podcast running. So thank you to our friends at Shopee for giving us that little URL to help boost the podcast. All right, let's go to sports. So Jude, sports is everywhere. Obviously,
Yeah,
it's been a form of relief for a lot of people. It's been a source of hope and whatnot. But the pandemic has affected it. Obviously, no live attendance. No people to chant, no people to boo.
yeah.
But I want to go back to square one. What was the first sport you learned to appreciate?
Ooh, okay. Let's see. First sport that I followed was college basketball. Actually, in high
Oh,
school I was in Sunbed, Alabang. So we were always hyped to see the Sunbed college team. That was like when I was following, it was their second championship. It was the second of I don't know. It was like, oh yeah, it was the second, yeah, second, and then and third, the second and third. I started on the second and third of their championship run, which is kind of crazy because uh, eventually we thought that repeat would be it, and now San Beda is still champion for like I don't know. The only time they've been champion, they're not champion since 2006 was like 3 times, and then the rest of the way it was all them. So kind of crazy. Yeah. Actually, I went deeper basketball. So NBA was there, PBA was there. PBA I like San Miguel, although I don't watch as much anymore.
yeah,
But yeah, for NBA it was Chicago Bulls. Maybe I think it was because of 90s childhood nostalgia, or
yes,
maybe it
definitely.
was because of Space Jam. I don't know,
Yeah. All
but
right.
it might
So
be that. So
yeah,
that's my we'll talk about that a bit more later. But that's
yeah,
where my probably the first sport and sports team that I follow was like Chicago Bulls. That was
yeah.
really nice.
All right. So as for myself, it's pretty much the same. The first sport I learned to appreciate was basketball because it was always playing on our TV. It was a time when ESPN Asia was owned by, I think it was a partnership between Disney and Fox or something in Asia.
Some way.
So it was always, yeah, there was always basketball on ESPN, NBA. And then, of course, Space Jam is a major factor for sure. Like, I don't, I still follow basketball until now. I'm not necessarily like a hardcore fan, but still I do follow basketball, of course, because we're in the Philippines. It's inevitable that you're gonna, you know,
It's like a must.
like a must. Yeah, it's pretty much like a must. Like if you're in Canada, it's probably gonna be ice hockey or something. Besides that, first, oh, first sport I learned to appreciate. Yeah, ayun. Saying hi to Tim Montales, by the way, saying that his introduction to basketball was NBA, PBA, UAAP, NCAA. He also mentions The Last Dance, and this is the NBA on NBC. Oh man, I love that theme, Round Ball Rock by John Tish. Um, it was definitely weird. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling now, but yeah, the first sport I learned to appreciate was basketball. Now let's move on to the next question. What was the first sports team that you followed? Jude, you go first.
Okay, I think, well, I did say San Beda was one. But
Yes.
yeah, first sports team that I followed, like majorly follow, was, yeah, Chicago Bulls most likely. Like
Hmm.
I was reading up because I know the Chicago Bulls because they're NBA champions in the 90s.
Of
Six
course.
championships. If you watched, like as Tim said on their comments, was the
Yes.
Last Dance. You know how crazy that Jordan 90s Bulls run was back then. And then, but yeah, the Chicago Bulls that I followed was not the Chicago Bulls of the 90s. After Jordan left, they've been in a rough patch. Like they've been trying to draft young guys. Those young guys don't pan out, and then they kept doing that until the guys that they got actually panned out. You know, they had if some of the people watching remember, Kirk Heinrich is
Yes.
a pretty reliable Chicago Bull. You know, Captain Kirk is like the first decent guy that they actually got. I mean, Tyson Chandler was a decent guy, but he was way better after he left Chicago. But yeah, um, and then they kept rebuilding. You know, they got guys like Luol Deng, they got Ben Gordon, although they let him go early. I'm sad about that, but yeah, they
Yeah.
got those guys, and then they got Derrick Rose. So like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh man.
and then that time I really followed. I think the season that I followed the most during that time was the 2010-2011 season, which
Mm.
was the season they went to the conference finals. And I just kept watching their games. Like I was watching each of their playoff wins until they went to Miami. They won the first game and then they
Oh,
got wrecked by LeBron. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. That kind of hurt my feelings, but
yeah.
yeah, I'll always remember that run because that was a really fun season of basketball. There are
Yeah.
other seasons that I would like to add, but let's move on. Let's talk about that for a bit later.
All right. So as for myself, again, same as you, the first sports team I followed was the Chicago Bulls because it was on TV everywhere. You couldn't avoid it. You were gonna find Michael Jordan on TV somehow. Yeah, I was sort of aware of the Bulls already in '98 because I was 6 years old. So I was literally there. I was sort of aware of what was happening during the end of the second three-peat. That
Mm-hmm.
three-peat, it really like after the three-peat ended, you realize a lot of things were changing. Nobody cared that. Okay, personally, maybe I wasn't aware that it wasn't that big of a deal when the Spurs won in '99. But Kobe's three-peat happens with the Lakers. Suddenly, the Spurs become a dynasty, and like when the Spurs won in '03, I feel like my focus on basketball shifted from the Bulls to the Spurs because my sister is a big Spurs fan, so she was super happy about the 2000s and the early 2010s. She got really lucky with that team. But yeah, my first sports team is the Chicago Bulls because it was in on TV all the time, and I really like their jerseys. There's something clean and simple about the red and the white, and it's so pretty. Like before the days of City Edition, whatever edition jersey that you have right now. I mean,
Yeah.
Chicago, your city edition is wonderful, but you have too many jerseys. There's too many jerseys now. Like we were talking to Derv about this earlier, right, on our Discord. Um, like he's looking for a Nets jersey because it's rumored that Blake Griffin is the front runner for the in the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, we'll have to
The
remove
Brooklyn Nets are the front runner. Yeah,
that Brooklyn Nets emoji if he doesn't sign for Brooklyn.
yeah, definitely. Anyway, the topic of sports uniforms is something else. It's let's move
We
on from
delve
that.
into that a bit deeper later
Yeah.
too. Like,
Okay. Anyway, next question is: do you still follow the Chicago Bulls today? You pretty much answered that already.
yeah, I
I
still do.
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, sige. Explain a bit. Yeah, I still do. It's like after removing Derrick Rose, they came to like that small era where they're really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So they got draft picks, and unlike the draft picks that they got before, they weren't really bad. They just took a while to pan out, and then they really had a bad coach last year and the year before that, which was
That
Jim
coach.
Boylan. That was so annoying. But now things are much better. They have a new coach, Billy Donovan, the guy who was a coach for Oklahoma, and then
Yeah.
back to back national champion in the NCAA with Florida. And then even though the team is still owned by Jerry Reinsdorf, at least Paxson is out. Gar Foreman and John Paxson are like gone. So
Oh,
I hope they can make better decisions right now. If we're talking about jerseys, the jerseys of the Bulls are pretty much the standard. They have the white over red. They have the red jerseys. They have the black and red jerseys, which is
yeah.
classic. Although I miss the '90s pinstripe version of that.
Yes, I
And they have
love the pinstripe jerseys.
and the
They're the
city
best.
edition isn't that bad. I mean, I like the font. The font looks really very old school, 1930s, 20s font. I know they don't really Chicago Bulls, they don't really explode too much on jersey designs. They don't diversify that often. They had the St. Patrick's one, they had the Christmas one, and then they got the old 80s 70s font, the cursive Chicago
Yeah, I remember that.
jersey. But yeah, they don't go beyond whatever they're doing, if you notice.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
it's one of those designs that's timeless, that if you change it, it might cause people to get pissed off, like, why did you change this? But I would like to see something experimental sometimes for this one. But as for the team success, Zach Levine is an all-star. They've been doing well. He's been carrying the team. But yeah,
Let's not
like
jinx.
the
Hopefully,
rest
we
of the
don't
team
jinx
is
it.
really good. It's really young. They got Kobe White as a nice point guard. Lowry Markkanen, though injured, he's shaping up to be the next good 7 foot shooter, which is kind of nice. Wendell Carter
Finland.
isn't Wendell Carter isn't a definite double double machine,
Hmm.
but he's actually a decent center. He's actually doing better because he was
Yeah.
injured a few years for a couple of times already, and
Mm.
then they got the fourth pick, which was Patrick Williams. They were wondering, like, why Patrick Williams? I was wondering too, but they wanted a defensive guy. Wanted to build a Kawhi Leonard type of guy. Steven, Kawhi Leonard has
He's
become like a
successful
blueprint
now.
for certain teams. Like, we want
Yes.
our own Kawhi, so we yeah. So
So
he's
it's
been there. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good
yeah.
rookie, and yeah,
You
Chicago
clearly
Bulls are
still
in, like,
follow that team today.
yeah, and yeah, I still follow that team today, and they're pretty much like their record is enough for them to be in the play-in tournament of the playoffs right
Yeah.
now. It started,
Yeah.
but I think they have the chance to go in there without having to go through that process. So
Yeah.
I really hope that happens.
All
So
right.
yeah,
So
that's
as for
mine.
myself, I don't follow the Bulls that much anymore because, to be fair, a lot of people dropped off that bandwagon when Michael Jordan left. So I still keep tabs on them, but not like follow them anymore. Before we continue to the next part, I do want to mention that with the numbers of COVID rising again in the pandemic, it's best to stay home. And if you want to get stuff delivered, it's best to get somebody else to do it for you. And that way, one way of doing that is with Mr. Speedy. So with Mr. Speedy, you can get 50 pesos off your first Mr. Speedy delivery using our code Geeky Mr. Speedy. That's Geeky MRSPEEDY. Repeat, this is only for your first Mr. Speedy delivery. Thanks to our friends at Mr. Speedy for giving us that code. All
Awesome,
right,
awesome.
next up is I think we already did the do you still follow that team today, right?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
your end though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you already did yours with the Bulls. All
yes,
right, so I
true.
want to read the comments on Facebook for a bit now. Tim Montales is super active on our comments right now. Thank you so much, Tim, for staying tuned. I even hope to be as good as Mike whenever I drink Gatorade. Yes.
Oh yeah,
Who doesn't
you
want to
you
be like
want to know if you can dunk like Michael
Mike?
Jordan just by drinking blue Gatorade, or maybe the lime one would do better.
Hey, Mike's the best. Speaking of Gatorade, I used to think that drinking Gatorade would make me a better athlete.
There was also Milo, so that's another that's
Oh
another
my
story in of itself.
god, yes.
So
You
if
also
you I
mentioned
think if you drank a cocktail of that, you're not gonna be a better athlete. Your stomach is just gonna hate you. for doing that.
He says Spurs of the 2000s is good as well. Tim Duncan's one good player to emulate, fundamentals and all. Nowadays, I go with the Golden State Warriors, not because of. Sorry, I think I changed on account. Not because of.
Steph.
Hold on, let me just find it.
It's
I
not
know what
because of Steph. It was because of Steve Kerr, actually.
Yeah. Oh man. I just want to do a little sidetrack. Remember when the Warriors had the classic the We Believe jerseys?
Oh yeah, that was a nice weird.
Yeah.
That was a nice little era where after decades of being irrelevant, they actually had a playoff appearance and they made out of
Yeah.
what they were doing. That's why
Yeah. It was the
That's why
weirdest time.
even though I also kind of hate the Warriors for whatever ever crazy domination they were doing, they kind of
Yeah.
deserve that after decades of being an awful team. After not living up to expectations, not having solid, not putting it together. When they put it together with the help of Steve Kerr and Steph Curry, that was really fun. That was a crazy era. I think in the next few years people would come to appreciate how wild that era was.
Mm. All right. So next question is, what sports team or teams do you follow now? So let's start with you, Jude.
Ooh. Okay, Chicago Bulls is one that's
Yeah.
off. Let's see. I now for association football, since we're talking about sports we're following. Well, I don't follow a specific team. I follow a specific sport in general. So like I
Okay.
follow European football or association football. So
Football.
every now and then I go around looking at Premier League, Bundesliga, Serie A, Ligue 1, and basically all of the major leagues. Even
Yeah.
Eredivisie and the Scottish League. I like watching that.
Scottish
And
League. That's
the
impressive.
Liga. Well, the Scottish League is run by two teams. That's Celtic and Rangers. If it's not Celtic winning the championship, it's Rangers. And this
Mm.
year, after like almost a decade of Celtic championships, it's Rangers.
Mm.
They're sweeping the floor with what's happening in the league. But yeah, kinda I want to explain a bit on how I came to follow this.
All right. Go.
I got to experience like Premier League football. Got to watch Premier League football, and from the start, I tried to see if there's a team that I would like to follow. Like, oh, there must be a team that I would be invested in, like something that I would enjoy watching. Same way I watched Chicago, but that didn't come to be. Is but so in the end, instead of rooting for one team, I just root for football in general. Like I just enjoy as a fan. I enjoy games as a fan. Although I like to see football dynasties toppled because there's a lot of dynasties. Like Bayern Munich is always winning, has been winning since like 2012. Celtic has been winning since 2011. Juventus is kind of the same boat. They've been the league championships for so long. Even like Paris Saint-Germain, which is like
Mm.
they've been winning consecutive championships. And as a football, I want to see like change. Like I want to see a team step up and beat a dynasty, which is kind of difficult because those dynasties that are built, they're retained by getting even more crazy amounts of talent. So I kind of hope that changes. Although the domestic cup competition, European football has League Cup. Has the league championship for them, and then there's the League Cup, and then there's another cup sometimes. So there's like two to three competitions they follow, and Champions League. Champions League is really fun. Champions League is really awesome. Best of the best European football, and there's international football. So World Cup is coming around next year, even though there's so many weird shit happening in whatever they're building in Qatar, because as reports say, thousands of people have died building the stadiums in Qatar, and they're
What?
doing the freaking World Cup in December
Fuck.
because Qatar is too hot in the summer. You might
Mm.
actually cause heat stroke from the world's while the world's best players are playing. So that's gonna be
Mm.
crazy. But yeah, really, it's a really controversial. It's gonna be a controversial World Cup, Steven. So that's one thing we might talk about in the future. But yeah, I follow European football. I don't have a
Mm.
specific, but one thing I do appreciate is the amount of history that a lot of
Mm.
these teams have, and one thing that made me appreciate is the football derbies. So rivalries are like the best way to appreciate a football team. Like I watch Derby Days. I think we talked about this before we started the
Yes.
episode. So and Derby Days in YouTube was kind of like my gateway to appreciate football even more. It's by
Mm.
Compa 90. But yeah, the host travels around the world looking for different football rivalries. For some reason, he gets tickets for some of the best rivalries. He's pretty lucky on that. He went to like English rivalries: Liverpool, Liverpool, Everton, Tottenham, Arsenal, and then went to Schalke, York, Barcelona, Real Madrid, the best ones. Milan Derby, the AC and Inter
Yeah.
Milan Derby. So it's just
Hey,
a lot of
can
stuff.
you check your audio now, Jude? Like I'm hearing my voice.
Oh, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm here. I can
All
hear.
right.
But yeah,
Cool.
let's go. But yeah, for that, um, apart from the Chicago Bulls, oh yeah, Gasol. Of course, I forgot. We
Mm.
can't. I can't not mention that.
Mm.
I've been following Gasol sports in general, volleyball and basketball. Although I would like to see other sports in the UAP get more coverage because
Mm.
UAP athletes are awesome. Like
Yeah.
every school, even though we hate seeing other schools win, they're really awesome athletes.
Mm.
But yeah, and then Sanbeda Guski because I always expect Sanbeda to win. So like
Yeah.
the only time that it would be a concern is to see Sanbeda lose, which happened like 2019. But
Yeah.
they're fine. Lasal, yeah, that's one thing. Like I remember, I think when Lasal won its championship in 2013, I think a lot of us cried a bit because we've been waiting for like a championship for so long because not really that long, but we wanted to have a championship during our stay in the university because
Yeah.
that's more awesome than watching yeah, it's just fun. But yeah, those are the teams I follow now.
All right. So as for myself, it's not gonna be as long. The list is a little bit shorter. It's pretty much just two teams: the Anaheim Ducks, the former Mighty Ducks of Anaheim, and the San Diego Gulls, which is the minor league team of the Ducks. Those are the main teams I follow now. In general, sports in general, I do still follow like sports as a whole, besides the Ducks and the Gulls. Um, yeah, those are the only teams I follow. Besides that, there isn't really much to it. I became a fan of the Ducks around 07, 08. Originally, I was a fan of the Ducks because of the movies, because who wouldn't? Um,
Sports
who wouldn't?
movies were really essential to
Yeah,
fandom.
exactly. So for myself, I became a fan of the Mighty Ducks movies first before becoming a fan of the team. For the longest time, I was just watching I was just like watching the movies. I never really thought of like, hey, maybe I should give skating a try or something. I never really tried it until like high school. Um, Probably some of the people in high school would have thought for myself it was a phase or something, but clearly it's not a phase when I've been following them for like more than 10 years now. um, Besides that, I those are the only teams I follow, the Ducks and the Gulls. I do dabble in a few other teams and other sports, but that's pretty much our last question. So, Jude, the next part is, how does your love for the sport continue today? You kind of already talked about it, right?
Well, I think it's just apart from appreciating the team you follow, it's
Yeah.
appreciating the sport. Like I appreciate the league. Like the reason I watch multiple leagues in football is
Mhm.
I appreciate different styles of football because you can see how different there are certain intricate details like if you're in England, if you're watching Premier League, it's a bit more physical. So
Mhm.
It's a bit more rough compared to the other leagues. If you're watching German football, they're like the most well-rounded machine you can see. Like because they have that balance of physicality, technical skill, and high scoring games. Like they're a team that's very technical and precise, yet they're exciting at the same time. And if you're into like crazy high scoring games, you can go to La Liga because they're really one of the best attacking. They have some of the best attacking football you can see.
Mm.
And then every league has that. And then if you're going to Italy, like Serie A, like they're really good Italians are known for, people joke around for Italy that 1-0 is like the best result they could do sometimes and they're happy with that. But recently Italian football is a bit more high scoring. But yeah, there's those details that made me appreciate. And I think like looking at other teams is like make me appreciate the sport. Like looking at the rich history that sports teams have to offer is just awesome. It's just really cool and
Mm.
just fun. Lots of fun. That's how I appreciate. That's how I
Mm.
continue to love sports in general.
Yeah.
Like recently, even for Gasal, I was watching old Gasal games just to see
Mm.
like other stuff. And let's look at the comments.
Yes.
Oh, Tim said
Tim's
I was
said a lot of
fortunate
stuff.
to shake hands with Franz Pomaren in their when DLSU won the championship in '07.
Mm.
That was the year they got suspended. The year after they got suspended, and then they won the championship. I watched the I watched the '07 finals. It
Mm.
was crazy. Like University of the East was undefeated, and
Mm.
LaSalle just ran through, held tight, and they just They just
Was that the
broke
Joseph
the
Yo
streak.
UE? No, what's his name? Ex ni Chris?
No, no,
Joseph
no, no,
Yap?
no. James Yap was gone
James
by
Yap,
then.
sorry. Okay.
He was like a few years into the PBA. It was
Okay.
like his fourth year in the PBA. So yeah.
Next
Um, um,
comment.
um, um,
Yeah, oh wow.
GSW.
He's a
Well,
very
TMC
90s
was a
guy.
nice team. And then
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan, and Bo Jackson. Oh man,
Pro
those are like
stars, man. Pro
eight
stars
90s
on
stars.
ABC5.
It's unfortunate that Bo Jackson didn't have that long of a run of success because of injury. But yeah. Ooh, Derv just said, Olga. Hello,
Oh,
Derv.
yes.
So yeah.
Hello.
Oh yeah, but yeah, how does my love for the sport continue? That those are it. And then I
All right.
watch various sports documentaries. It's just
Yes.
appreciating the sport beyond just the team you follow. That's how
Mm,
I make it. Like you see like the effort, the dedication, that the passion, even the passion from the fans will make you
yeah.
continue. So yeah, that's my
All
answer
right.
for that.
As for myself, it's pretty much the same. Watching documentaries, watching behind the scenes videos, going to Discord servers and like ranting about how the Ducks are now on a 9-game losing streak.
Delicious
Um,
actually.
we're so bad. We are so bad that it's affecting the minor league team. The Gulls lost 5-1 today, but at least the Gulls know how to bounce back. The
They're a
Ducks,
developmental team. They can
they're
handle
a
that.
developmental team, yes. So it's like NXT with WWE. Um, the Ducks though, I'm actually curious because the current record for longest losing streak in the NHL is 18 games. We are now halfway through possibly the longest losing streak in the NHL's history. And I'm really curious. I want to see us keep it going until we break the losing streak because I know this is a rebuild year. So, yun nga, I show I my love for the sport continues today by buying stuff and keeping track through watching online and listening to games online because a thing I notice about North American sports, they always have sports radio. Dito sa Pinas kasi masyadong maliit tayo. We don't have the luxury of having sports radio that much. It's usually just a segment of
Unless
radio.
it's for PBA,
Yes,
which
yes. Pag
I
sa
usually I
PBA.
I regularly hear whenever I go out before.
Yes. Ayun. Besides that, that's pretty much it. We watch documentaries and still follow them, even though like how old na tayo. How do you show your support for your team today? I guess Jude, you don't really need to answer this because you're following multiple teams,
Yeah, I
right?
do follow.
Sige,
Like,
let's skip.
yeah, I just support them by really just watching the
You're a
sport.
football agnostic.
Not really agnostic. Like, I'm just there. I just appreciate. Like, there's still no team that has sold me. Like, no matter how. I know one day there's gonna be a team that I'm gonna be invested on and I'm gonna be happy about
Mm,
following. But yeah, right now it's just appreciating the entire sport of football.
mm. So as for myself, how do I show support for my team now? Well, you can see it right here with the Gulls jersey. I bought this for my birthday, so those are nice. I was able to sell some jerseys on PayPal, so that's pretty cool. Look at that. It's a bird. Wait, I have to turn off my background. Hold on. Let me turn off my virtual background. Uh, Original. All right.
Oh
So now
yeah,
you can see me clearly.
go.
You have the San Diego patch here. The Ducks logo. This is the current Mighty Ducks logo, by the way. So it's no longer the duck, the Mighty
It's no
Duck.
longer the duck's bill, it's the
It's the
foot,
duck
right?
foot. Yeah, yeah. And then here's the main logo, which is a seagull. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so that's how I show my support for the team now.
Oh,
I
let's look at the
buy
comments.
merch, expensive merch. All right, go,
Yeah.
Jude. Comment time.
Derv said BG to Brooklyn. Yeah, Blake Griffin is most likely still room. I think there's a chance that Blake Griffin would go to an East team. I don't know if he'll fit in the
Probably gonna be
Bulls, but
Brooklyn.
weird. But yeah, Brooklyn. He's gonna go to a definite contender. If it's not Brooklyn, it most likely be any of the LA teams. Um,
Really,
my
really,
because
really now, for real?
because he's a guy that can still produce. Um, Although he hasn't dunked at all for like since 2019, so that's kind
Yeah.
of concerning. But some people said that he's not dunking because Detroit is bad. He just doesn't want to exert effort for a team that's not exerting that much in terms of success. But anyway,
Mm.
first race to who enters the playoffs first? Is it Ducks or the Angels in MLB?
Um, I honestly feel like the Angels have a better chance now if they can get back up for Otani and Trout. This is kind of like answering the next question, but I started to like learn more about MLB because of the family trips to Japan. I learned a bit more about baseball. I don't know
Japanese
anything about the
baseball is awesome.
technicalities. Yeah, I don't know anything about technicalities, but whenever we would visit Japan, I would always like tune the TV to like a Nippon professional baseball game. If not, oh, here's the thing. I noticed something when Shohei Otani went to the Angels. It's kind of like the Yao Ming effect in China. Whenever you see baseball MLB in Japan, it's probably going to be an Angels game because Otani's there. I mean, there are other players, other Japanese players in MLB, but Otani's like the big guy. From the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters, he transferred to the Angels in Anaheim, not LA, because I still hate that they still call themselves the Los Angeles Angels. I mean,
Of
there was even a point
Anaheim.
where, yeah, there was even a point where they called themselves the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. I'm like, what the hell, man? What? And then, okay,
It's confusing now.
speaking from experience, I've been lucky to have gone to Anaheim. I have a picture of the Ducks arena, of myself with the Ducks arena one time. I'll show it next time in private. Um, LA and Anaheim are pretty far from each other. They're like 1 hour drives away from each other with good traffic. With bad traffic, it's probably gonna
it's
longer.
it's really difficult. Yeah.
It's pretty difficult, yeah.
So,
So
so
yeah,
yeah, I wonder who
long,
gets
long
there
story
first.
short, Angels will probably make it to the playoffs first because it's a
Yeah.
pandemic.
Oh, by the way, Steven, if you said the longest NHL losing streak is 18 games, that's
Yeah.
actually good for NHL because NBA has had like 20 plus, 28 was the worst.
Mm.
I
Who
think
was it?
in European football, there have been cases of 20 to 30 game losing. So like if
Wow.
NHL has been able to historically keep it under 20, that's actually good, you know.
Hmm.
That means like even the worst teams aren't completely like
Yeah. Aren't that bad?
completely as crazy as the other leagues because
Yeah.
yeah, there's also like in NFL, like NFL only plays like what 16 to 18,
Pretty
16,
much,
18
yeah,
games at
excluding the
max if you play
playoffs.
the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Um, I think there was one team who had zero, if I recall correctly, 0-14 or 1-13. I can't remember, but yeah, at least, yeah. I'm kind of surprised that NHL's longest losing streak is 18. Like
Yeah.
they haven't even broke the 20 mark. That's pretty nice. That's kind of
Hmm.
nice. So
All
yeah.
right.
Oh,
So,
last
hmm.
comment. Arsenal uses WWE teams for their entrance.
All right.
For the entrance stuff. Yeah, they do. Okay, let's go.
So before we continue, I want to mention we got our Mr. Speedy and Shopee links through the help of Podmetrics. Podmetrics helps us, well, gain a better understanding of our podcast stats. We also have a promo code for Podmetrics. Use the code Geeky Juans on the screen. That's Geeky Juans. Use that, and we get a little bit of a cut to help keep our podcast running. So once again,
Yeah, we
thank you
get a nice
to
bit of support.
Podmetrics and yes, thank you to Podmetrics and the folks at Podcast Network Asia. We are not a Podcast Network Asia podcast, but they help create Podmetrics. So thank you very much to Mr. Ron Baitiong. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. All right. Where did we stop? Oh yeah. Here we go. The last question of the day. Are you following any new sports now, Jude? Let's start with you.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I've been trying to watch. Oh well, it's in general esports. Like
Yeah.
I've been playing video for a long time, and I haven't seen that much esports recently. So every now and then I try. Like when I think when we went to ESGS, I was able to catch
Yes.
a Rainbow Six Siege
Hmm.
esport. Was really good. I can say that Rainbow Six Siege is nice to watch, but I
Oh, I think we lost Jude there for a bit. Yeah. So esports, I follow the Overwatch League, which is pretty fun. Besides that,
a year and a
I
half
haven't.
ago.
Okay, Jude, I think we lost you for a bit.
Oh, I'm back.
Yeah.
Hello.
All right. So can you repeat
So
what
I
you said
think
about
I'll
esports?
say that I was following the Apex Legends esports scene. So that's the Apex Legends Global Series, and been following since 19 where they when they started, and it's been pretty nice. You get to see how teams grow. Like there's so many team roster changes. Like I've followed a lot of teams since the beginning, so I know. Oh man, they're moving, they're leaving. Like you get invested in those teams. So I've been watching North America and Europe for the most part. Although I've been watching APAC North and South, like Asia Pacific. So like there's Asia Pacific North is like Japan and Korea, and then
Mhm.
APAC South is like Southeast Asia and Oceania, like Australia,
Okay.
New Zealand. So it's really interesting. It's really fun to see that.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's a different way of looking at different way of following sports because esports is so big right now. It's crazy. That's why I want to try like just delve into. I might also find another league to enjoy, like another game to enjoy and try out. So that's something that's why I'm following that trend right now. So there
All
we
right.
go.
As for myself, I'm slowly getting a better understanding of Formula One.
Oh
Um,
man, yes. Oh
it
yeah,
I
I
think
kind of follow that too.
yeah.
So
So recently, okay. So I sort of was aware of Formula One in the late '90s because, of course, Schumacher. Schumacher was like the '90s had this weird period where everyone in every sport had some sort of major superstar. They had Gretzky in the NHL. You have Michael Jordan in the NBA. I don't know MLB. Ken Griffey Jr. or something. Um,
you have to
Formula
check
One.
that out.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar. Formula One had Michael Schumacher. I mean, who wouldn't? Like, he had this had like this almost parallel comparison to Jordan because he wears red. He's also
He
medyo
has won
loud na
6 in a
race.
row.
Yeah, like, dude, hey, Hamilton broke it. Hamilton broke the streak na, diba? The world championship streak na. Did he
Well, he
tie
broke
or
Schumacher's race win record, which is
yeah,
insane.
right?
Oh no. Schumacher won like 5 in a row.
But yeah, I follow F1, um, and somehow some of my friends shout out to the people at Smart Henry, Ardell. Ardell is now a Formula One. I'd say super fan na si Ardell, I think, and also si Ria, another friend of mine. Ria is now a hockey simp, which is pretty cool. Hopefully, we can do a podcast together soon. Besides Formula One, I also follow a wee bit of MLB and MLS, Major League Soccer. For MLB, it's mostly
MLS.
just the Angels because I feel like it's one of those cases that, oh, I like the Anaheim Ducks. Maybe I should give their other team a try too. It
I think
reached
I
a
should try
point.
that too.
Yeah. Oh, you should try. Oh, Cubs or White Sox. Good luck, man. Um,
Well,
sorry. Where I lost track. Yun nga. It reached a
MLB.
point na, yeah. Speaking of MLB, I joined a Discord server full of like discount jerseys and all because in the US there's a whole there's like this discount department store called Ross or Marshall and Marshalls like magkalaban mga ganun, discount stores. Adidas has dropped the not team issued, but like authentic like replicas, like authentic like made in Canada hockey jerseys. Basically like things that you wouldn't usually get access to kasi nga wala siya sa retail. Those hockey jerseys suddenly appeared in retail because Ross daw has like I don't know about Ross or Marshall, but yun nga, parang ang daming discounts with Adidas. And turns out with MLB going to Nike this past season, the other jerseys that weren't really used, which were made by Majestic, RIP Majestic because Fanatics bought them, RIP. Um, Majestic jerseys are now flooding these discount stores in the US, and I was able to find one for the Angels baseball for Anaheim Angels, a white jersey. Anyway, it's pretty cool. Now, when I started following this sport, I suddenly found a good deal on a jersey. But advice: do not buy jerseys when you are not financially sound. Seriously,
It's
because
any
last
sport
night I
actually.
any sport, yes. To be honest, I got lucky na I got my um my Christmas bonus was able to pay for a lot of the jerseys that I bought. This is fully paid for. Don't worry. Um, um, again, just don't buy too many jerseys because I almost fell victim to that. I learned now. Okay, I'm gonna look for a good discount deal before I buy a jersey. That's it. I'm following MLB. I'm following F1. That's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. Let's take a look at the comments one last time.
Oh, we can
After
talk about
Derv.
other stuff after, but yeah, let's go look
Yes,
at the comments
yes.
first.
Tim mentions Tom Brady. Well, Tom Brady, as long as he shuts up about his political beliefs, because Trumper. Um, yeah, he's a
He's
MAGA. He's a
been there
MAGA
for a
man.
while though. 21
Yeah,
years as a player, like that's insane for any
yeah.
athlete. Been there since
It's like
2000.
Yeah, it's like AJ Styles. Like we know he's a flat earther, but like, yeah, you can respect him as a wrestler, but like, dude, logic. Anyway, it's like Chris Jericho who donated twice, who donated to the Trump campaign
No, the
twice
guy is
for
not a
some
political
weird.
guy at all. You know, he said that
Yeah,
on his
he's not
show.
political, man. Like, yeah,
He should
his
have
wife
just
hung out
should
at
have
the
just
riots, far
he
away
should
from
have
the
just kept
riots.
quiet about it, and just
Yes,
let people find out what he did. But yeah, kind of
exactly,
insane.
exactly.
But hey,
Anyway,
these guys he's been around for Tom Brady has been around for so long that you're wondering when will this guy just stop.
retire. Yeah. All
The
right.
fact
So
that he
last
won
one for
on a
Tim.
team that's not named the Patriots was insane.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
for Tim, last one, he started following MMA, specifically UFC, and won championship because he's been training for in MMA for 4 years. Loving the grind, man. Nice, nice, great job, Tim.
yeah, keep
All
it
right.
going.
So
MMA has been really
yeah.
fun.
All right. So our final update before we go, we have two things to talk about, and that is
Okay,
Nigerian Prince Apollo Cruz and the New Japan Cup, which is still happening right now. I think I have no
I
idea.
think it's
Let me
happening
check
as
engine.
we're
Let me
watching. We're
check.
gonna watch the
Yeah,
replays because there's just
we
so much
better.
happening. But
Yes.
we can look at the results, the initial results first. Um, let's see. For the we had Satoshi Kojima versus Jeff Cobb, and
Hmm.
Cobb just annihilated Kojima by the end of this match. So
Hmm.
he proceeds, and then his opponent next round, Evil, who I think he gets a bye because he's a NJ
The
Cup
winner, the
winner
past
last
winner.
year. Yeah, he was a
Yeah. Yep.
2020 winner. Next one was Tetsuya Naito versus the Great, in which Okan um, scored an upset over Naito. Naito has been on a bad run
Yeah.
recently, so I think this is him having needing to bounce back soon. But yeah, Great Okan, nice solid win. He's up against Toru Yano,
Oh shit! Here we
who
go.
beat Madlock. As you said, Steven, before we were broadcasting, following the KOPW trophy.
Yeah, but Yano won, but at what cost?
Yeah, did he Okay, next guy, Taichi versus Hiroki Goto, and oh man, I would have wanted, but Goto won this. I
Yeah.
kind of no, I wanted Taichi for
World champion
this kind of.
Hiroki Goto.
Oh yeah, you could somehow count him happen along with Suzuki, Fale, and Eagle Elgin. Weird guy. MVP is a world champion. It's happy. That's
Yeah,
nice.
nice,
MVP.
nice, nice.
It's the very first Intercontinental Champion. Kind of deserves that nod. Anyway, remember it was remember when the color scheme of the IC was like copper, was like a nickel.
Really? I don't remember that. Anyway.
Yeah, it was. It was. I'll show you the first match. But yeah, let's see. The next match is in. What's happening right now is and as this is
Yeah.
going or may have finished, I don't want to predict. So Juice versus that's a nice US title
Yep.
scene rivalry a bit. It's there. And then there's Kazuchika Okada versus Shingo, and this is another big match. And I think we've heard reports of Kazuchika Okada having two slip discs. I think he has to take a
Yeah.
for
I
this,
really hope he
for him
loses
to
the first
recover
round and
because
then
damn,
disappears. Yeah. For a while. Take a break.
yeah, I think Shingo deserves a nice win over Okada too, especially what he did. We came so close. Next March 7 tomorrow is Gabriel Kidd versus Zack Sabre Jr. in a very British battle.
Hmm.
And that next one is Hiroshi Tenzan versus another United Empire member, Will Ospreay. So that's going to be big. United Empire has been
Yeah.
picking a fight with Tenkozy for some reason, but yeah, I guess they have to start somewhere, which
They
is
want to get rid of the old men.
get rid of the old guys first. Oh, March 9, since the schedule of the upcoming schedule goes that far. March 9 is Yuji Nagata versus Yota Tsuji, or I think they're
Oh.
trying to make a nickname for Yota Tsuji, Mount Tsuji. Kind of nice to hear.
Pwede.
Guy is pretty built. He was an
Mhm.
American football player in college and looks the part. And then there's Tomohiro Ishii versus Sanada. Interesting. We'll be catching up to this one later, especially the
Yes.
results today. But yeah, that's it for New Japan Cup. We're gonna talk
And
about
final topic.
weird
The
random
final
topic in
topic.
WWE because that kind of took us by surprise. I didn't care for it much last week, but when I
Yeah.
heard this promo a while ago before we were broadcasting, like what is happening? But yeah, okay, among many things in the WWE. Oh, I would like to say that let's give a moment of appreciation to the Hurt Business and Bobby Lashley
Yeah. Oh
because
yes,
Bobby
definitely.
Lashley is finally a WWE champion. And although Miz was champion for only 7 days, the fact that Miz got to win another championship is still
Yes.
awesome. Like,
Definitely.
guy deserved the second, even though no matter another title in his resume. But for Bobby Lashley, he's
That's
been there
true.
since 2005. I watched his debut. He was like, guy
Yeah.
was a machine,
Doing this,
and I
like
watched him.
Jews, like yeah, like
Yeah,
that.
like
The
and he
sparklers
was
and stuff.
using Farouk's Dominator
Yeah.
until he realized that he has to have his own finisher. Like he just has this nice off the rope spear, which is kind of nasty, but hats off to Lashley, finally winning the WWE Championship after so
Mhm.
many weird storyline angles for the past few years, and being the top guy for TNA Impact Wrestling.
Yes. Yes.
That's where
Definitely.
we realized that Bobby Lashley is an actual world champion level athlete, and he
Finally,
was in
right?
Bellator too.
Finally.
The guy,
Yes.
he was like Brock Lesnar, essentially the guys that no matter how much we hate Brock Lesnar for not showing up that much, these are two guys that who show that a professional wrestler can succeed in mixed martial arts. So that's
Yes.
kind of and yeah, hats off to Bobby Lashley. He's one belt close to Grand
Grand
Slam. He
Slam.
just needs to,
Yeah.
and he can do that any other time. WWE mixes and matches tag teams randomly in a
Yeah.
certain part of the year, so Bobby Lashley might win it. But hats off to the Hurt Business. MVP is
Said hats off 3 times now. It's okay. We get
yeah,
it.
but yeah,
All
MVP
right.
is
Let's talk about it.
a really
Yeah.
great general manager. And now we go to Apollo Cruz, who's now
Yes. The final topic of the day.
what is Apollo Cruz? Yeah. Okay. Here's for context. Apollo Cruz is actually a Nigerian African,
Hmm.
and and recently he has now embraced his Nigerian roots. I mean, remember Kofi Kingston? Remember when they put his Jamaican really misplaced, horribly
Oh
misplaced
man.
gimmick,
Yeah.
and then they just
Oh
began to
my
appreciate
god.
that Kofi Kingston is actually Ghanaian, and the fact
Yeah.
that even
First
till now
legit African champion, right? Yeah.
like you don't change anything. You don't have to pander stereotypes on that. So that was
Yeah.
nice to see Kofi win as Kofi Kingston from Ghana, which was actually awesome. And now Apollo Cruz is going by his tracing back to his roots. His name is now Uha Nation. What? Okay, Uha
Wait,
Nation.
what? He,
Oh
he
no no,
changed his
that
name
was
now?
his old name. That
No,
was his old
no.
name before. That was his
Yeah, I don't
old
think
name
he can change
before.
it to back to Wuhan Nation.
Now he's in. Oh yeah, now he's still Apollo, but now
He's a Nigerian
he's now a
prince.
free. He's now embracing his Nigerian roots, which he said he has a royal lineage, which is kind of weird. Uh, I'm not sure what to make
Very
of this.
legit daw siya, di
What to
ba?
make
Tama
of
ba?
this gimmick.
Like,
I
it's
hope
legit or
it
something?
because Apollo Cruz is a really good athlete.
But it's legit,
He's
right?
a
He's like,
really
he
good.
legit has, like,
But yeah,
mm,
kind of weird. But yeah, it's an unusual turn. But yeah, he's a Nigerian royalty, and I don't know.
Is he gonna send you emails?
Well, oh man, like that's one thing that was I remember because there was a time that we get spam emails from Nigerian princes, supposed Nigerian royalty. I mean, African royalty is prestigious. Like they have a very rich history, and African
Yes.
royalty is some of the richest people in the world at a certain period in time. They were like so rich it was ridiculous. So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, I appreciate Apollo Crews looking to his heritage, but yeah, this is still unusual. I hope I don't know. I want to see the story keep going. If Apollo Crews stick to his guns, he's a really good athlete. I think he'll succeed in singles competition. So that's gonna be nice. So your thoughts, Steven?
All right. So overall, I'm just excited to see the memes that could come out of this. That's pretty much it.
It's pretty
Um,
crazy, like, weird
yeah.
stuff.
Yep. All right. So before we go, we want to remind you that you can follow the Geeky Juans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Spotify. You can find our podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. We also have a website called thegeekyjuans.com. You can see the title on your screen right now. That's pretty much it for the Geeking Out Over Sports episode of the Geeky Juans. That's it. So for myself,
Oh, wait, one
Jude
last.
and Jude. Oh, okay. All right.
We have to plug our newest Geeky Ones article, which is
Yes.
my little review of Pacific Rim: The Black Season 1. It's a nice show. I'd recommend it. So watch it on Netflix. It's really good. But yeah, that's it.
Don't forget to read the article on thegeekyjuans.com. So for Jude, I'm Steven. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Derv. Thank
Juno.
you, Fatboy
Yeah.
SEO.
Awesome,
Thank
guys.
you, Juno. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Earl Maghirang. Thank you so much. We're the Geeky Ones. We'll see you next time. Bye.